one day I was walking up here to see Jerry Savage one day back in the mid-'70s, and I walked in his office, which was pretty much over in this corner. This building wasn't here yet. And I walked in the office, I said to Jerry, "What are you doing?" He's there eating his skinny sandwich for the day. He said, "I'm putting some pictures on the wall." So I looked down, there weren't any pictures on the wall, but there was one on his desk, and it was a picture of Paul Feeley. So Jerry liked to decorate his office with the players who had played for him. And in the best Jerry Savage, he said that his best, this was the highest compliment that Jerry Savage could ever give anyone. He said, he was a very good basketball player. Paul Feeley, I would call him the quintessential basketball player. Quint, for you guys who didn't take Latin, is 5. Paul can play all 5 positions and play them well, and play them with tenacity, and play them for the entire game. Now, he was a cornerstone of Jerry's early days, late 60s, early 70s. So, from the class of 1971, it's my pleasure to introduce Paul Feeley.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. When I received a letter from Michael Keeney last year saying I had been selected for induction into the Loyola High School Hall of Fame, which is now, of course, Loyola Blakefield. We still call it Loyola High School, us old grads. I was very surprised. I knew that some outstanding players had been inducted over the years, but I never considered myself to be in that same category. I thought perhaps, like in Major League Baseball, there might have been a veterans committee who picked people based upon the fact that they attained a certain age in life. Or maybe it was based on how much I improved here over the years. You see, I arrived on the Loyola campus in September 1967 as a callow 13-year-old. And when my freshman class underwent the cattle call known as the physicals back then in the old gymnasium, where everyone got in line, one behind the other, and went through their vitals, I was a 5'8", 110-pound physical specimen. And I was still clinging to the two-handed set shot that I used so well at St. Mary's Gobins. Nevertheless, I made the freshman team at Loyola, but quickly found out that I was competing against guys who were physically superior to me. I was amazed that some of these guys even had facial hair. And some of them even had to shave once or twice a month. I remember being the 14th man on the 15-man squad, and I seldom got into games, and I can honestly not remember scoring a single point my freshman year. During my sophomore year, I started to get a little bit of playing time. I grew a few inches over the summer. I scored a few baskets now and then, but it was pretty much an uneventful campaign for me, and I played for the great coach, Mr. John Stewart, back then, until the next to last game of the year. And I remember it being an afternoon game at Mount St. Joe's, and you know, they had the windows like we had the old gymnasium at Loyola here, where the sun would shine in the afternoon, so part of the court was in sunshine, part of it was in shade, and you'd run through these things. But I had a very eerie feeling that game for some reason. And as fate would have it, I made my first basket, made my second basket, started grabbing a bunch of offensive rebounds, and lo and behold, by the end of the game, I had scored 19 points, which for me was probably as many as I had scored that entire season. I never had that feeling again like I had in that game. It was almost like an out-of-body experience in all the years that I played afterwards, but that was sort of the stimulus for me in my basketball career. I remember the next day at practice, it was Saturday here at Loyola, and the then first-year coach, Jerry Savage, came up to me and congratulated me on my game the night before and told me to work hard in the off-season because there were going to be a lot of openings on the varsity the following year. His encouragement prompted me to start visiting the makeshift weight room that was created in the boiler room down by the pool. Not like the one they have today. But I started transforming my body in the weight room. Eventually, a growth spurt fueled by a huge grocery bill from my parents and a lot of hard work enabled me to become a decent high school and then college basketball player. I've always loved the game of basketball for the life lessons it taught, but also because it introduced so many wonderful people into my life. There are a number of people who I want to thank for assisting me along the way, starting with the selfless men at St. Mary's Govans, who created a great youth league basketball program there that was the envy of parochial schools throughout the city of Baltimore. And I'm really pleased to see that my coach from there, Mr. Bill Clark, is here this evening. Playing for Mr. Clark gave me my first feeling of the thrill of victory that they talked about on Wide World of Sports. I also want to thank my teammates at Loyola who sacrificed their own statistics for the good of the team. When you played for a Jerry Savage coach team, everybody shared the ball. Points were not the most important thing, but winning was. We've remained steadfast friends throughout the years, despite geographical separations. And I'm genuinely touched that so many of you guys showed up this evening to support us. I also want to thank my parents who sacrificed greatly and found a way to make sure that I and all my siblings went to Catholic parochial schools and Catholic high schools on my father's city policeman's salary and my mother's part-time job. And finally, the one person who more than anyone else is responsible for my receiving this award would be my coach here, Jerry Savage. From opening the gym in the summer to entering us as 15 and 16-year-olds in summer leagues playing against adult competition, to taking us to clinics and to college games, and providing us with rides when we had none, Jerry always went the extra mile in providing us with opportunities to develop if we were willing to put in the work. I have many fond memories of playing with and against him after my years here at Loyola, and without his encouragement and example, I would not be on the receiving end of this award this evening. As most of you know, Jerry passed away last year, and we miss him greatly. The only thing that would make this evening more special for me is if he and my parents were here with us tonight so that I could thank them personally. In lieu of that, let me thank everyone on the selection committee who thought me worthy of induction and made this award possible. God bless everyone in the Loyola community, and especially its bold men of chivalry.